Welcome back, my friends. In our last video, we learned a lot about this knot. Let's see more today. These two bracelets are made from bowman cord 1mm, which has a bold, detailed texture. And this one is what we often used, which is nylon cord 0.8mm. We'll see how to braid this one in our upcoming video. Those are the topics of our two videos. I'm so proud that we've been learning together so much. Alright, let's start how to continue braiding from a finished end. Here's the closed end. What you need to do is find the two horizontal tied up closed loops. The end one is what we need to pull out. Here I use a smooth end of a needle to do the job. It's quite handy. You may ask why this one? The reason is, this one is actually the last knot we tied. I'm going to pull it so that you can see. Let's continue. Hold your knot in this position. Let's pull the right side top loop again, like we did with the needle. I'm gonna just use my hand since it's loose now. Can you recognize now? After the pull, you're right at the position of braiding a half knot. And you know what to do next, right? Alright, now you know how to continue braiding from a finished end. Congrats! Let's see how to fix a loosened knot next. Here's a loosened half of the very first knot. As you know, the first knot easily gets loosened during braiding because we're building a base. What you can do is pull the left cords or the right side ones while maintaining the center securely by holding it up. When you're pulling it, your index fingers pulsingly to feel the tense gradually, until it's tied up all around. If you feel that's too much trouble, you can just start over. That's what I do usually. See, this is a normal status of a tied up knot, which means you're ready to go. Another situation is, during the braiding, your knot gets loosened, like this. You see, it doesn't tighten up the finished loop if you pull the adjusted cord, or we can call it a working cord. What we do is to tighten the fixed side of the cord. Because this is a knot from the past, we're fixing a past knot. Does it make sense to you? Keep stretching it until it's tight. If you don't remember which cord is which, you can just massively stretch each cord a bit until everything looks good. Now let's see what we can do when we are lost during the braiding. Here's a very important info. The unstretchable cord should be on top, which you need to locate first when you're lost. As long as you caught the top cord, everything else will be a lot easier. So take a look at your braiding. Try to get familiar with these two cords. The next thing you need to do is to place your index finger in the right position to continue braiding. Remember we mentioned this position is very important? So besides this, there's another way to find your way back. If you can recognize the positions of each cord. For example here, the top cord always goes from left to the right through the loop, while the bottom cord always stays at the right side of the loop. Let's see after one round of braiding if you could still identify it. After we wrap one round on the finger, you can see the lighter blue top cord is crossing the loop, and the bottom cord stays on the right side of the loop down here still. Let's see it closely. The navy blue cord on the bottom always stay at the right side of the loop. Remember this picture? It may help you to cast out some fear of this knot. Alright, what's coming up is how to keep the pattern from rotating and neatly braided. Remember this default gesture when we're braiding? It requires you to keep the knot near or in the center of the top finger, and the loop has a 90 degree to the finger. So after you pull the cord down, it will be landing completely on the front side. Before we dig in, what I found about how to solve this rotating issue, check this way I braid this knot. Did you see clearly what I did? It's after that I pull the cord down to form a knot I'm still holding this cord to flip this whole knot over. Keep using it wrapping around my finger to form the next knot. It seems to me that this way of braiding simplified the whole process of making this knot. Did I mention that you need to organize the knots after you braid quite often? Yes, do that. It will keep your braiding quite neat. Now let's talk about what I found about how to keep this knot from rotating. Here I use this needle to separate this whole knot into two parts, the top one and the bottom one. As you think when you're braiding this knot, the result is like a cylinder. But actually when you're braiding, you're dealing with four sides. This is the first one, then this is the second one, third one, here comes the fourth one. This is a cuboid instead of a cylinder now. The way you're holding it proves it more. That you're holding one side of this cuboid, then you flip it over to work on the other side of this cuboid. The top and bottom loops you created are the other two sides of this cuboid. So based on this theory, you kind of keep the whole braiding flat on your finger and make sure every loop you pulled should be joined in the middle of this cuboid side. Remember the needle I used to line up in the middle of this knot? Keep that in your mind when you're braiding, because you always want to see the straight horizontal line in the middle of this braiding. If you want, after braiding, just use your two fingers to roll it to make it more rounded. This is for professionals. I have no problem by leaving it the way it finished. Last but not least, remember to organize the loops. It gives you a satisfying result when you take a close look at it. Alright, I hope you have a very delightful experience when you're braiding this knot in the future. And you have a wonderful week there, okay? See you soon!